Ah, the Manchester Christmas markets, the bratwursts, the tacky gifts, the mulled wine. You can almost smell the mulled wine as you're walking down the street. And that, for me, is what Christmas is all about, having a nice drink. Now, I'm no expert, but I know some guys that are. I've come here to Reserve on King Street, where the Arctic Monkeys recently had their after party. So these guys know what they're talking about, and they're going to teach us the art of fancy booze. So this is Jody Monteith, one half of the Licorice.
It is.
Okay, just tell us what the Licorice are, first and foremost.
Booze educators.
Okay,
We specialise in alcohol enlightenment.
it's not a bad job.
No, there are worse ones out there, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So when you say enlightenment, does that mean that you give classes, you talk people through different types of alcohol?
Absolutely. I think drink better but less is the mantra.
So up until recently, I know for a fact you've done, for want of a better phrase, pub crawls.
Yeah.
So specialising in one particular spirit, you'd go around different pubs, having a drink in each pub, but delivering information on that drink.
Spirit and cocktail trails, we like to call them. But yeah, for want of a better terminology, it's effectively a kind of adult pub crawl. Responsibly, obviously. But yes, we showcase Manchester's finest venues, bars, restaurants, that kind of idea. And we generally tend to categorise, so we focus on rum or gin, that kind of thing.
And now you've almost settled down a little bit because you've made this your temporary home.
Absolutely, yeah, settled down temporarily.
So this is what they call a pop-up.
Yes, or a short-term lease, depending on who you're talking to. But yes, it's a pop-up. We're here for 3 months. We're kind of halfway through now. And it's a pop-up with a difference, I suppose, in that we have a retail space on the ground floor, which we're in just now, and then upstairs we have Daisy's, which is our cocktail bar.
Christmas is coming. For me, I like to start the day, Christmas Day, with a glass of Bucks Fizz,
Yep.
maybe a drop of sherry
It's
when Grandma
traditional.
comes
Yeah,
round. But there's other ways. I mean, we always have special dinners, but let's talk about special drinks.
Yep. Okie doke. There's various trains of thought. I'm also a fan of a Bucks Fizz, or a Bellini, perhaps.
What's a Bellini?
It's when you use peach puree. We take Prosecco and peach puree. But all the rage in Glasgow. All the rage.
Are they?
No.
So what we got first then? What are you going to show us?
We're going to kick off with Tanqueray number 10 Daisy. The first ingredient is Tanqueray number 10 gin, which we have in here. The second ingredient is a homemade chamomile and elderflower syrup. We take elderflower cordial, we mix that with some chamomile tea and a touch of sugar. And here we have some fresh lemon juice, half an egg white, and we finish with some carbonation. So we have just shy of 2 measures of the Tanqueray number 10.
If people are doing this at home, they're not going to have the jiggers that you've got in the bar. What can they use?
It's all about quantities and ratios. You just use an egg cup.
Okay.
Or make it in a bath and use a bucket if you want. But as long as it's the same thing, same vessel you use, that's fine, no problem. So we have a measure of the elderflower and the chamomile, half a measure of the lemon juice, half of an egg white, and we finish with the soda at the end. We just use 1 ice cube. And that's just to emulsify the egg white to get a lovely head on it first. So we give that a quick shake. You get all that lovely foam.
And that's what makes it, I think, aesthetically, to look at it.
Absolutely,
just having the foam
yeah. And
on top.
that's the importance of the egg white. And not only, as I say, does it break down on the palate and give you the beginning, the middle and the end, but aesthetically it's just stunning.
I think more importantly, though, than talking about aesthetics, is how it tastes.
Well, yes. We give it a little garnish. We just use some fresh or dried chamomile tea, just on one corner, make it look nice and pretty. And that's all yours. That's the Tanqueray 10 Daisy.
So I guess, and I don't put my lips around the
Other side.
etiquette. It is really good.
Yeah.
And I think what's nice about it is it's for men and ladies.
Absolutely, yeah. Totally metrosexual.
It's a metrosexual cocktail,
Absolutely, yeah.
which is nice. So, we've had the cocktail, but it's Christmas, it's cold outside.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody likes a hot toddy or a mulled wine, and I believe you've got some a bit different, a bit special for us.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, in a similar vein, we've tried to take the hot cocktail as all the rage, obviously, this time of year, with the markets outside, and you need to pick me up.
Of course you do. Have to shop in.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we've done something with a difference, and it's really just flying just now. It's amazingly popular. It's a very, very simple concept. We've taken a very popular cold cocktail in the Cosmopolitan,
Everyone loves a Cosmopolitan.
and we serve it hot.
Ah.
So it's amazing the way that the cranberry juice opens up and starts to develop.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a kind of secret ingredient, I suppose, a little bit of a point of difference.
Is there any point in me asking what your secret ingredient is?
Absolutely, yeah, I can teach you how to make it as well.
Right, so it's not that secret,
It's
is it?
so simple, it's so simple. So the base of the Cosmopolitan is usually a good citrus vodka.
Yep.
And in addition to that, you would use a good orange liqueur. We've kind of flipped on its head a little bit. So we use the hero of the drink, if you will, is the orange liqueur this time as opposed to the citrus.
Hero of the drink.
Absolutely. So we use Grand Marnier.
Yeah.
So it's an orange-based cognac liqueur. We pair that with some cranberry juice. We use some falernum. Now, falernum is a Caribbean cordial.
Of course it is. Everybody knows that. Jody?
Absolutely, and it's very, very simple. We take a cup of sugar, a cup of water, like a handful, about 40 cloves. We take, a thumb of root ginger, slice that down, and then we take the peel of 12 limes. And you let that roll on a really low simmer for about 6 hours, and what you're left with is this falernum here, which is just the most amazing. You can actually try that on its own.
This sounds like a lot of work.
It's really not, honestly.
I'm guessing worth it.
You could find a very simple recipe for it online, just a really simple Google search. We'll give you falernum, no bother.
Now, I don't know whether it's the cloves, but to me already that tastes Christmassy.
Exactly that. Yeah. You're looking at about, per person, you look at about 100 mils of the cranberry juice. You have a measure of the falernum, a good double measure of the Grand Marnier, half a measure of the lime juice. Just bulk that up depending on how many you're expecting, and keep it on a really low heat.
And that, simmering away, is just going to make your house smell
Going to fill
like
the
Christmas.
house. Going to fill the house with aroma. In Blue Peter style,
Say it.
here's one we prepared earlier. Want to do that my whole life. And just to finish off, sorry, just before the
I'm keen.
is just a little twist of orange, just for a little bit of aroma. You get some of the oil out of a little peel of orange, just to give it a nose. And that's the finished article.
Oh, see. And I'm not just saying it because you stood eyeballing me, but that's just great.
Really, really warming, really lovely and wintry.
So, we've had a nice cocktail. We've had a winter warmer, feel nice and warm and fuzzy and Christmassy inside. But it's Christmas, we know that, you're going to be giving gifts, and booze isn't a bad idea for presents, is it?
No, not at all. No, it's a box ticker, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Talisker, a very well-known brand.
One of my favourites, actually, whenever people buy me a present, be it Father's Day, birthday, it's always a nice bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Always, and it's, you like it, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you get so much for your money with Talisker, it's just so complex. It ticks so many boxes at once. And they've produced something quite special here as well. And in the last year, they've released the Talisker Portrait. And what we've actually got is Talisker, but it's finished in port cask. So you've got all that lovely maritime, that salty, that peaty character.
So you can taste it.
Absolutely, you've got all those classic Talisker characteristics. And on top of that, and right on the finish, a lovely rounded, warming, fruity sweetness.
See, already, the way you're talking now, much in the way people talk about wine, I think scares a lot of people. It puts them off. They don't want to dive in because they feel like they're not going to know what they're talking about, or they're not going to know what they're tasting.
Yeah, it's totally subjective. There's no right and there's no wrong. That's the beauty of it. You can't be wrong. It's just all about preference. It's all about what you want and what you get out of it, ultimately, we do a lot of whiskey tasting. A lot of people, like you say, are confused by labels. They're confused by walking into a shop and seeing these things that are almost kind of just don't make any sense.
Yeah, and it can be intimidating.
Of course it can be, absolutely. One of the ways we like to describe it, one of the ways we say to people, to dip your toe in the water and to find out what it is that you like and what it is that your preference is, start on like good blend. Start on something where you get great value for money.
Yeah.
Johnny Walker Black Label, Johnny Walker Gold Label, that kind of style of whiskey. And then you can work from there into single malt,
So if you can, spend a little bit of money.
Absolutely, I would say so. I think it's worthwhile always spending kind of £5 or £6 more than that kind of base level.
Yeah.
So don't go in and buy the £15 bottle of whiskey. Go in and spend the 20, 21, 22. Get a little bit more value. Get a little bit more kind of complexity. It's worth spending that couple of quid more, and then work your way up from there.
And I know this from experience. Once you're into it and you stick with it, and I had to work my way through quite a few bottles to discover what was right for me. But I enjoyed that.
Absolutely.
But it then opens a whole new world, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, there is so many expressions. There is so much of it out there. There is a whiskey for everybody.
Yeah.
You just haven't found it yet.
Well, Jody, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for the drinks. If you want to get more information on the drinks that you made, if you want the recipes so you can try it at home, go to our website, manchester.tv. And of course, if people want to know more about you guys, the Licorice, you've got your own website?
Absolutely, yeah. They can find us here at 52 King Street until the 1st of January. Or alternatively, they can pick up all the information on thelicorice.com.
Lovely. Jody, thank you very much.
No problem.
Cheers.
Slange.